being owed to the power generating companies, while the legacy debt of the gas supply companies stood at $1.3 billion. In 2023, the total subsidy for the tariff was supposed to be 720 billion naira. The government only funded 400 billion, leaving a total of over 300 billion brought forward to 2024. And at the current pricing regime, we estimated that if we retain the tariff at current rates, the government will be needing about 2.9 trillion to subsidize electricity this year. And we looked at the government budget itself. We looked at the provision for subsidy. We discovered and confirmed that government could not afford to pay this. Government budget is 28 trillion naira. 2.9 trillion is subsidy for power sector alone is over 10% of the budget, which is not realistic for us to ask the government to pay. But there are other competing sectors for these limited resources. We now said we should find a way around this. There must be a way subsidy must be reduced. And we said, okay, we cannot attack the industry 100% because each category of customers have some limited level of electricity supply. And we said, if at all we're going to revise the tariff upward, let it not be 100% because it was going to add to the hardship and sufferings of Nigeria, given the recent hardship they are experiencing from the removal of fuel subsidy and from harmonization of the dual exchange rate. We now say, let's look at those set of customers that can actually have some stable level of supply of minimum of 20 hours per day. So what we did was actually creative and quite different from what we have experienced in terms of the tariff review in the past. We made it a conditional tariff. We made it a service reflective tariff, that the only condition that can make a distribution company to charge the new tariff of 225 naira per kilowatt hour is they must ensure they supply a minimum of 20 hours to that consumer every day. If they cannot sustain this within a period of 7 days, such consumers must be graduated to the old tariff. That is the condition.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, it's quite evident that enough consultation has not been done before this tariff increase. And it is, to say the least, the increase is outrageous, it's unaffordable, and unrealistic. It is only the discourse that are supporting this increase, simply because it's going to favor them. But the Nigerian public, I'm asking a question. The Nigerian public, whom we represent, are crying. And the timing of this increase is not appropriate in view of the fact that there is withdrawal of petroleum subsidy, which has added to the cost of living. There is merger of the exchange rate, which has also made things go very, very high. And now at over 200% of tariff.
200 or 300.
And it has never happened in the history of Nigeria.
And which I believe must have increased by today. And also to investigate the role of the Ministry of Power, NEC, and the company known as Ziglax on their failed agreement to provide meters and ensure that Nigerians are not shortchanged. of utmost importance is to ensure that the provisions of the Electricity Act 2023, as amended, are implemented to the letter, particularly sections pertaining to tariffs and subsidies, in the sense that the procedures for such increase are strictly followed upon proper consultation and after due dissemination of information to end users, because these are the bone of contention at the moment. This investigative hearing will focus primarily on answering three basic questions. A, at what time did NEC migrate from the previous customer classes of residential R1, R2, and R3, commercial C1 and C2, and demand D1 and D2 to the present unexplainable bands A, B, C, and so forth for electricity customers? B, what constitutes consultation?
I also want to know how the ministry verified that the discos actually distributed those meters, or did you do the distribution? That's question number one. Then also, secondly, I want to go to the World Bank loan for meters. It was brought to the attention of the Senate that the loan was to be given to us, but in return, the meters would be imported. And we object to that, and I'm trying to find out if that situation has changed and the meters are now being locally produced. Then thirdly, I would like to know how much the discos have invested in the discos since they were acquired, because there's been talk of asset stripping, so it would depend on how much the discos have they been at just the way they were when they were acquired. Was an investment made, minimal, a lot? That would be something I would like to know.